Hey, good morning, good morning. Hope everyone is well. Um, yeah, sure. Let me read. So I want to read from the book of Genesis. Um, Currently, in this week, just been super busy, a whirlwind in my life right now. So I apologize for being missing the past couple of days, but it's just been uh super lot going on right now. But right now, I'm reading the story of Joseph, and let me just read my scripture, and I'll say a little bit about it. But Genesis 39:5 says, "From the day Joseph was put in charge of his master's household and property, the Lord began to bless Potiphar's household for Joseph's sake. All his household affairs ran smoothly, and his crops and livestock flourished." And today, I'm just grateful for I'm grateful for the people in my life who God has blessed me with, who has allowed my life to flourish. Um, I'm grateful to be a blessing to anyone's life who I may be a blessing to. Um, and I'm just grateful to be alive, grateful for my family. This particular story, this particular excerpt of the story, everyone knows the story of Joseph, right? But I bookmarked it because it was so interesting. And I never noticed this part of the scripture, right? Where Potiphar, you can imagine Potiphar, he was a rich man then. You know what I mean? Like he literally was, I think, the second in charge of Egypt or something like that. Like, but he was high in the rankings. You know what I mean? And you could only imagine like the level of opulence that they must have had back then. 1,000 slaves, big homes and doing all of this, right? But he really like it. It was just interesting to me because in this particular verse, God pointed out that the Lord began to bless Potiphar's household for Joseph's sake. So like even though he may have had those riches and wealth, that wasn't what God had considered a blessing to him yet. His blessing didn't even come on him until Joseph became a part of his life. And I'm sure that he received his blessing because of his kindness toward Joseph and the love that he must have shown Joseph, because he brought Joseph in as one of his own. And it just was a good, healthy reminder to me, not only to be, it's important to be kind, because you never know who the person is around you or who the person you may help, who may just be a blessing, right? But how important it is to to just remember that people around you could receive a blessing from you, right? And you could imagine Joseph could have sit back and been marginal. He could have said, "Oh, Lord, you blessing this man house, this my blessing, this for me," he being selfish with his blessing. But then at the end of the day, he wouldn't have been propelled to what he ended up being propelled to. He wouldn't have been in a position that he, and because all of this was prior to him getting his his basically his upgrade in life, his promotion. So it just was a healthy reminder to me how important it is to remain in character and be reminded to share your blessings, because you never know, once you don't share your blessing, you never know where God can take you afterwards. You know what I mean? Like this may just be a stepping stone for him to see how you manage it. You know what I mean? Or he may be blessing the people right in your vicinity because they can need to be strong, because once you get strong, you can need a strong support system. You just never know. And it was a really interesting part of the story for me, and a good reminder for me to just remember how important it is, you know what I mean, to share your blessings, and how important it is to just be grateful for your blessing in the first place. And if you see somebody close to you, around you, being blessed, it might only be because of you. you know So anyway, thank you again for listening to me this morning. I'm Gary, and I relinquish my mic.